Hello everyone, today we're going to unravel Tenet, a sci-fi thriller. The film opens at an opera house in Kyiv, where a large crowd has gathered to watch a performance. Suddenly, a group of armed terrorists bursts in and takes everyone hostage. Moments later, what seem to be SWAT team members arrive, but one of them is actually the protagonist, a CIA agent on a covert mission. His objective is to recover a strange object hidden inside the building. To cover their tracks, he sets explosives under the seats, but just as things get out of hand, something unusual happens. A masked soldier saves him by firing a bullet that moves backward through time. The operative escapes, but he's captured soon after. He's tortured, but refuses to give up any information. Believing he's about to die, he takes a suicide pill, only to later wake up and discover it was a test.
A test.
After surviving the test, the agent is recruited into a secret organization called Tenet. Their mission is unlike anything he's faced before. He's told about strange objects that don't behave normally, bullets that reverse direction, moving backward in time. A scientist shows him how these inverted objects work. They don't just fall, they rise. They don't fire, they return. It's not magic, it's physics, but reversed. To understand where these objects come from, the agent is sent to Mumbai. There, with the help of a new ally named Neil, he infiltrates a heavily guarded apartment building. They use ropes to climb up the side and break in through the balcony, surprising the security team. Inside, they meet Priya, an arms dealer. The protagonist questions Priya about the inverted bullets he saw in Kyiv. She tells him the bullets passed through her supply chain, but she doesn't deal in them directly. She explains they've been inverted, moving backward through time, and mentions Andrei Sater, a powerful Russian arms dealer connected to these strange weapons. The protagonist travels to London and meets Sir Michael Crosby, a British intelligence officer. Over lunch, Crosby reveals that Andrei Sater is the key figure behind the inverted materials. Crosby also tells him about Kat, Sater's estranged wife. She authenticated a forged Goya painting, believing it was real. Sater bought it and now uses it to control her, threatening to expose her for fraud if she leaves him. Crosby advises the protagonist to speak to Kat if he wants to get to Sater. The protagonist travels to an art gallery in London to meet Kat, Sater's wife. She quickly realizes he's not just a client. He brings up the forged Goya and offers to help destroy it. Knowing it's how Sater is controlling her, she warns him that Sater is extremely dangerous and abusive, and tells him the painting is stored in a free port at Oslo Airport, a secure facility for valuable items. If it's destroyed, Sater's leverage over her would be gone. As the protagonist finishes his meeting with Kat, one of Sater's men seated nearby gives him a cold look. While exiting through the kitchen to leave, two thugs ambush him. A brutal fight breaks out. The protagonist holds his own, using whatever he can find. After taking them down, he exits the building. As part of their plan to get the painting, Neil enters the Freeport, pretending to be a wealthy client. While touring the facility, he asks specific questions about the building's fire safety features and how the oxygen is cut off during emergencies. As part of their plan to destroy the forged Goya and help Kat, the protagonist and Neil infiltrate the Freeport building at Oslo Airport. Meanwhile, two other members of their team hijack a cargo plane and crash it into the side of the Freeport as a diversion. The explosion triggers the building's fire protocols, including the purging of oxygen in the vaults to prevent combustion. Using this distraction, the protagonist and Neil move quickly through the smoke-filled halls and reach the secure vault. But instead of just finding the painting, they come across a strange sealed chamber and something completely unexpected inside. The protagonist is attacked by a masked man who emerges from one side of a strange rotating door. At the same time, another masked man appears behind Neil and runs away. The masked man fired inverted bullets, which slam into the glass before the gun even recoils. The protagonist dodges the shots and engages him in a brutal hand-to-hand fight. Despite the man's bizarre, reversed movements, the protagonist manages to overpower him. But before he can unmask him, the man escapes, sliding away in reverse under the shutter, retreating back through time. Later, they meet with Priya again. She reveals something shocking. The masked man was moving backward through time. She explains how the turnstile inside the Freeport is a machine. that can invert objects and people, sending them on a reverse timeline. Priya tells him the technology was developed in the future and is now being used in the present. With more questions than answers, the protagonist focuses on getting closer to Sator, and the only way in is through Kat. He meets her again and proposes a deal. If she helps him get to Sator, he'll make sure the forged Goya is destroyed and she's freed from Sator's control. Kat, though hesitant, agrees, but she demands full freedom and a chance to reunite with her son. To get close to Sator, the protagonist joins him and Kat on a sailing trip. During the ride, Kat throws Sator overboard. The protagonist quickly jumps in and saves him. Sator, impressed, begins to trust him and brings him deeper into his plans. He tests his loyalty and intentions. Eventually, Sator offers him a job to help retrieve a package in Talon. The protagonist agrees, aiming to get closer to the truth. That night, Sator catches the protagonist watching him beat a man who delivered gold from the future. He questions who he really is and how he knows about the Kiev Opera. They trade threats and test each other's trust. Sator warns him about the mission in Talon and says Volkov will join him. The protagonist refuses but stays calm. Sator orders his men to put him ashore, reminding him who's in charge and to handle the plutonium deal carefully. The protagonist and Neil learn how Sator gets inverted gold. He buries capsules and the future sends the materials back. They plan to hit Sator's convoy in the middle of busy city traffic, using heavy trucks, a bus, and a fire truck to block the roads without leaving a trace. Meanwhile, Sator shows Kat the gold, mocking her for pretending she's not part of his dirty world. He threatens her when she tries to stand up to him. The convoy heist begins. Neil and the protagonist use trucks and heavy vehicles to trap the armored car on the highway, but Sator's team fights back, using strange, reversed radio chatter. The protagonist realizes the package isn't plutonium. It's part of something far worse. It's the algorithm that could destroy the world. He sees Sator holding Kat hostage in another car. Sator threatens him, so the protagonist gives him the empty box to keep Kat safe. He then pulls up next to Sator's car and rescues Kat during the chase. But right after, the protagonist is captured by Sator's men. He is then taken to a warehouse. An inverted Sator shows up with Kat and demands to know where the real algorithm piece is. He threatens the protagonist and shoots Kat with an inverted bullet to force him to talk. Under pressure, the protagonist gives up the location. The inverted Sator then escapes. Neil and the Tenet team arrive to save the protagonist and Kat. Kat is badly hurt, so they put her through the turnstile to invert her and stop the wound from killing her. The protagonist also inverts himself to go back and try to fix what happened. Now inverted, the protagonist travels backward along the same highway. He drives back to the scene to find the real algorithm piece he hid in the BMW. But Sator, moving in reverse, takes it first and then rams the protagonist's car, flipping it over. To get back to normal time, the protagonist heads to the Oslo Freeport with Neil and inverted Kat. There, he fights his past self and goes through the turnstile to switch back to moving forward. After the fight, the protagonist, Kat, and Neil are back in normal time. Priya tells him that the algorithm is really a doomsday device. If Sator finishes it, it could reverse the whole world's entropy and destroy the past. The protagonist, Neil, and Ives join the Tenet team to stop him in a final mission at Stalls 12, Sator's hometown, where the last piece of the algorithm will be buried. The protagonist and Ives fly in with Tenet's red team. They'll move forward through time. At the same moment, the blue team, already inverted, moves backward through the same 10-minute window. Their plan is to use this temporal pincer to attacks happening in opposite directions to reach Sator's buried algorithm. The protagonist and Ives form a splinter team, while the red and blue teams distract Sator's men above ground. They'll sneak through a hidden tunnel to grab the algorithm before the bomb buries it. At the same time, Kat is on Sator's yacht in Vietnam. She stays calm and acts friendly toward him so he doesn't get suspicious. But she's waiting for the right moment to stop him. Sator wants to kill himself on the yacht while sending the algorithm's location to the future, which would trigger the world's destruction. On the ground, the red and blue teams fight Sator's army, who also have inverted and normal soldiers. Explosions, gunfire, and collapsing buildings all happen at once, forward and backward. Inside the hidden tunnel, the protagonist and Ives reach the algorithm but get trapped behind a gate. They see one of Sator's men about to blow up the algorithm. Just then, they see a dead soldier on the other side and realize it's Neil. He had inverted himself, moving backward, and sacrificed himself to open the gate. He then drives a truck above the tunnel and drops a rope down. The protagonist and Ives grab the rope, and Neil pulls them out just in time, saving them and the algorithm. The protagonist now knows Neil was the same masked man who saved him at the opera house. Neil gave his life so they could stop Sator's plan. Back on the yacht, Ket reveals her plan to Sator. She shoots him and throws his body into the sea before he can send the final signal to destroy the world. The algorithm is split up and hidden forever. The protagonist realizes Neil was working for his future self all along. Neil says goodbye. This is the end for Neil. But for the protagonist, it's just the beginning. In the end, the protagonist steps into his role as the founder of Tenet, the man who will one day recruit Neil in the past to save the future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.